Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and a potential rookie holdout come training camp. What's going on, everybody? I'm Noah Strackbine. Thank you for jumping on to Steelers to Go, your daily to-go cup of Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talkers. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. Today, let's talk about a potential rookie holdout for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It has been brought to many people's attention that second-round pick Joey Porter Jr. has yet to sign his rookie contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and as we inch closer to training camp at St. Vincent College in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, it is becoming a growing concern by some that he could be headed for a holdout. Let's talk about it. First, we are only two and a half weeks away from the start of training camp for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I did not expect a rookie second round pick to be the name that we're talking about when it comes to a holdout. Alex Highsmith seems like a much more urgent need for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If they don't get a contract extension signed for him by the start of training camp, I would say the expectation is he's not going to practice at Latrobe. He'd probably do a hold in. That's the Steelers thing, the Steelers way, started by TJ Watt several years ago and has followed through with many other names like Minkah Fitzpatrick and Deontay Johnson. And it seems as if Alex Highsmith is next. I don't know if I get a deal done if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers by the start of training camp for Highsmith, but I think that they're relatively close as long as Highsmith doesn't want a huge, ginormous payday and one that the Pittsburgh Steelers can't afford. But for Joey Porter Jr., it's a totally different situation. And the panic, it's warranted. I get it. I understand. But at the same time, let's be realistic about the entire situation. And the realistic chances of a holdout are very, very slim. There are currently 25 rookies who have yet to sign their contracts with their teams. 25 of them. Of those 25, 13 of them are second round picks, including 9 right in a row from 40 to 48. Joey Porter Jr. is not alone. In fact, the pick after him, Will Levis, is still unsigned as well. And I bet both of those guys are fighting for guaranteed money. And that's the only reason that Joey Porter Jr., Will Levis, and all of these other players have yet to sign their rookie deals. But Joey Porter Jr. is not the only. The Steelers are not in a situation where it's panic mode because they have the last rookie unsigned and they've hit a point where they can't agree on guaranteed money, likely in the last year of his contract, and they're looking for a solution. Joey Porter Jr. and his agent are being difficult. That's not the situation that the Pittsburgh Steelers are in. They're in a very common ground. And in fact, it's very unusual how they're handling this situation because Joey Porter Jr. is the most unusual draft pick the NFL has seen in quite some time. But overall, this is a pretty normal basis for many NFL teams. And the Steelers are far from in a sticky situation by themselves. Yes, training camp is only 17 days away. But at the same time, those 25 guys are also expected to be signed by training camp. So it's not as if we're starting to worry about hold-ins. But let's talk about that unique situation that the Pittsburgh Steelers are in with Joey Porter Jr. It comes down to this. Joey Porter Jr. was the 32nd pick in the draft. Any other given year, that's a first-round pick. And so he's getting paid like a first-round pick, even if he's the last one. That one on your round in your class makes a hell of a difference when it comes to your paycheck. Instead, he's being treated as a second-round pick, and therefore Omar Khan and company in the front office that is working on his contract are treating him like a second-round pick. You were the 32nd, we get it, but you are a second-round pick. There is almost zero chance that Joey Porter Jr.'s agent is not fighting for more first-round pick guaranteed money in that fourth year. And the number is going to be pretty high. It's going to be a good number, but it is worth fighting for because, again, Any other given year, that's an easy call. You're the 32nd pick in the draft. You're going to get paid like the 32nd pick in the draft. Instead, he's the 32nd pick in the draft who's trying to be paid, or the Steelers are trying to pay him like the 33rd pick in the draft. And that's complicated. I get it. I understand the entire situation. But to hit a point where we're starting to ease into the panic mode, look at the button and say, man, is it almost time to push it? It's a little premature because the Steelers and the chances that they do not get a deal done with Joey Porter Jr. by the time they roll into training camp are almost zero. This team doesn't operate like that. The NFL as a whole doesn't operate like that. Unless you are a very, very top of the tier, you are in a class of your own and you had a weird slide. Remember the Laramie Tunsil situation back in the day? Unless something very strange happens, it's hard for a player to argue that their value is exceedingly higher than what the placement of their pick was and how the team wants to compensate them. In the case of Joey Porter Jr., I understand that one draft pick, and I understand that that money is going to be different. But I think that the common ground is much closer than if he was drafted 32nd because of an odd slide when really he was supposed to be a top 10 pick, or he was supposed to be possibly the top pick in the draft, but instead a late night video came out of him wearing a certain gadget and he slid to the middle of the first round. And instead he wants to be paid as if he was possibly the first pick in the draft. That's not the situation. The situation was Joey Porter Jr. slid, but that slide was somewhat anticipated. He fell into the second round. In a normal draft, he's a first round draft pick right at the end there. But instead, he's the first pick of the second round. And he has to decide how much money, or he has to fight for how much money he can get and how close he can get to that first round price tag as humanly possible. All credit to his agent. I bet you the Pittsburgh Steelers agree with their tactics, and they are probably in a more friendly situation than it is a hostile one, than it is one that would lead to a holdout training camp. Where do I see this coming or ending? I see it ending before training camp, but I could see it ending on July 26th. As they report to the dorms, I could see Joey Porter Jr. walking into an office, signing a contract, moving on, and getting ready for training camp the next day. I find it very, very hard to believe that the Steelers and Porter's agent are not going to agree on a contract before that date. Because at this point, what is the purpose? What is the point? How much are you hurting your client over helping him? I understand the guaranteed money. I understand in the NFL, nothing is guaranteed, and it's very, very difficult to make a life in this league. But that being said, Joey Porter Jr. has an instant opportunity to make an immediate impact on this defense and to etch himself, into the Steelers' defensive secondary for the long run. That opportunity is already in front of him. To miss time at training camp means that that opportunity has since backed itself up. It has since slipped and has become dimmer, and one that Porter now has to chase again. You're looking at a really tough situation to say, I'm going to walk away from possibly being a starter as a rookie because I'm ready to hold out during training camp because of a couple $1 million in the fourth year of my contract, when possibly I could already have an extension, when there are performance upgrades that will boost my contract in the next couple of years as long as I perform to those standards. The opportunity for both sides is there for Joey Porter Jr. to go make a bunch of money and to be an instant starter. Makes too much sense for a rookie to step away and start controversy, hurt the fan base, hurt his relationship with the team, hurt his relationship with the players, all because of the fourth year on his rookie deal. I think he understands that. I think his agents understand that. I think the Steelers understand that. And again, I don't know when this deal gets signed, but Joey Porter Jr. lives down the road from UPMC Rooney Sports Complex. It doesn't take much for him to stroll into the parking lot, say what's up to the security guard, walk in, say hi to the front desk, stop and get some lunch, make his way up to Omar Khan's office, and ink a contract. That can be done in a morning, in an afternoon, in an hour. The deal's going to get done. And the chances that Joey Porter Jr. is here for a holdout and things are going to get wild before they start getting smooth, I'd say are very, very slim. And if you're sitting around worried about the second round pick still not having a deal done, remember that 25 others, I guess 24 others, still don't have a deal done either. And when that number gets to 2, 3, maybe 5, and Joey Porter Jr. is just a handful of players who doesn't have a deal done before training camp, yeah, then we could talk again. But until then, it just seems like early panic and everything is going to be just fine.